morning, happy Tuesday, happy rainy Tuesday for wherever we are. Weekend, and there's some deals there. We're gonna be hunting harder for the deals. That's what the feeling is in the market, but it is, you will get them if you try. Just like Robbie said earlier, she was at an open house that was dead, but an owner of a building, one of the owners in that building walked by, and she's already started the relationship and the CMA conversation with them. So today's topic is the benefits programs that the Century 21 system has, plus a couple of added value ones that it's taken a while for us as the company to put together for you guys. But I think they're really important. One of them is for your extended health insurance. Most packages that I've seen are always in a big group, being the company or the board, and the premiums are get to be ridiculous because most of the people jumping on board are the big policy users. And then for those of us that just want security, we end up paying for their benefits costs on top of ours. So John and I, and I'll explain our relationship in a second, put together a great program. So it's just focused on you and only you, and you're the sole risk in that. And then on the other side, we've got Christian and Jennifer from Waypoint Insurance, that used to be All West Insurance, and they're going to talk to you guys about policy insurance, personal lines, which is homeowners insurance, and tenants insurance, not only for yourselves, but for your customers, for our property managers and their customers, and the tenants. But I don't want to get into that too much either. So benefits programs, a lot of us know about it, and a lot of us don't know about it, but what the Century 21 system has. So Angelique, I'll get you to put up the first slide, and we'll just take a look at all the benefits programs that we have access to of being Century 21 members in Canada. These are the ones in Canada. So should have some music going. You got it, Angelique? Okay, there we go. So there's quite a few, and I'm only going to be talking about a few of these for our talking points. But as you can see, there's a lot of benefits. There's a lot of benefits to be had for us all. So Angelique, let's go to the first slide. And I just picked the ones at the top of my head that I know that Heather and I have used personally, so I can talk about those. That's easier. But yeah, take a look. Pod, Staples, Canada Post. Canada Post is a brilliant cost savings benefit for us for unaddressed ad mail. Unaddressed ad mail, for all you that do not understand what that is, that's when you get those flyers or postcards in your mail slot, whether you're in a house or a condo. They're not addressed to you, but they're advertisements. So I believe our rate is 12 cents per piece, which is, I think the Joe Public gets it at 15. And the benefit with that is it saves you money. And the other benefit with that is it ties on to right next to UPS, which is our print house. So for those of you that want to do unaddressed ad mail to certain areas through Canada Post, they call it postal walks, but also FSAs, which are postal codes, or first 3 digits. You can keep your butt in the chair and have it all sent out through UPS and connects it to Canada Post. Previously, you had to print your material, you had to bundle it, you had to fold it, and you had to bundle it, then you had to walk it over to Canada Post, wait in line, already have your map area, target area to go and deliver it, and then pay for it there on the spot. Now through UPS, you send them the PDF, whether it's a postcard or a trifold 11.5 by 8-inch piece of paper, and you tell them where to send it to, and you pay a little bit extra for that delivery cost, but it's not nearly as much as your time to get yourself over there. And it's all done for you. The only catch in my personal view of this whole thing is you got to get it done a little bit earlier than doing it yourself. So if you want a mailer to go out for Friday, you should have it done and ready at UPS on a Monday, so the facilitation can have it done. But it's just being prepared for it. Next, please. Budget. Heather and I just had an experience. We were at the C21 Canada conference in Ottawa, Foster, and I looked at all the car rentals because we needed a car for 4 extra days, and everybody quoted me a pretty high rate because I had to pick it up in Ottawa and drop it off in Toronto. And when we did it through Budget Rent a Car, we saved close to $500 because everybody else's rate was pretty much the same. So saving $500 was brilliant, plus a couple extra little perks, no mileage and stuff like that. So if you're traveling, then I would suggest you look at Budget. The other one to look at, if you have it personally, is your BCAA. Oh, and I wanted to go back on, so the Budget one instead of the Canada Post. The Budget one is a really good marketing piece for us to use on our social media to say to, or an email campaign to your database, hey, if you're thinking about renting a vehicle, I have a code that you could use. Give me a call, I'll give you the code. We might be able to save you some money using the code. Don't give the code out in your marketing piece, otherwise they don't call you for the code. But it's another touch point on social media because we are the real estate experts and we also are service provider experts. So we know where the plumbers are, where the painters are, the landscapers are, the insurance guys are, and sometimes rental companies as well, and hotel packages. Next slide, please. Rogers. We all love cell carriers, but Rogers has a very good package for our realtors, and so does our real estate board as well. But this, again, is a cost savings opportunity for not only us, but our customers. So again, post it out there. If you're looking to change your cell carrier, I have a discount code for you that might be able to save you some money. Give me a call and I'll give you my code. And if it works, great. I'm glad I could help. And if it does work, get them to write you a validation. Next one, please. The Brick. Heather and I have used the Brick many, many times. They are the largest appliance retailer in our country. And we bought many things from mattresses to washer dryers to dishwashers, ice makers, and whatnot. And it's really simple. How you use it is you go out and you find the brand that you like. And at the Brick email address that you see there, you email them and you introduce yourself. You say, I found this appliance. Could you please give me a quote? And if the quote's better, you decide if you're going to accept it. If they don't carry that brand, which is very unlikely, they will recommend a comparable brand for you, and then you get to choose. This is one of the better ones that the C21 Canada system has. So, and for you guys as well, is, you know how, you know, you're selling $1 million homes and something like a $300 microwave goes on the fritz or something, a small appliance. You know, instead of nickeling and diming your counterpart on the other end of the deal, you can just simply say, why don't we just go shop this out at the Brick and get a really good discount at it? And we'll make the customer happy and we'll make the problem go away. I think it's a brilliant way to step up in a stressful situation, especially when, you know, at the last minute, the 23rd hour, the stove doesn't work, the microwave doesn't work, or some sort of appliance doesn't work. So again, it's super simple. We did it. The last big purchase that we did was it was a washer dryer, and Heather said it saved us about $1,200. And all we ended up doing was shopping online for what product that we want based on the dimensions that fit in our home. Send it to the guys at the Brick, and lo and behold, it was a huge savings. Plus, the other benefit that I was pleasantly surprised is they took the old one away for no cost. So if that package is still there, that's worth it all to begin with. Carry on, next slide. Staples. We all are printing paper and buying product and stuff, and we use it as well for the office. I'm sure your customers also have offices in their homes where they need supplies and whatnot, or maybe for their small businesses as well. There's a code. You go to Staples, you put the code in, and you see if it's cheaper there or if it's cheaper somewhere else online. Just another opportunity to save a couple bucks in a very competitive market that we're in today. Next, please. I talked about the UPS, but I will again. guys, the UPS is becoming more and more reliable for us as a print house. The machines are better, the paper's better. You know, we have a good printer in the back of our office as well, but nothing compares to the size and scope that these guys have. And so it all goes through in one portal, and they can deliver it to us as well. Or if you think it's going to speed it up, you can go get it. There's multiple UPS stores that surround our office, but their delivery to us is super simple. Again, just to see if you can get some conversations outside of real estate from your prospects. Next. Waypoint Insurance. There we go. We're going to talk about this one with Christian. So, back in the day, I used to be in the insurance business when I got out of BCIT, and I was working for a company called Laurentian Pacific Insurance. I was stationed out of Vancouver, and I started going through different departments, i.e. general insurance with homeowners insurance, marine insurance, liability, fleet insurance and stuff. And I was there for close to 10 years. And then I kept on thinking, after getting into C21 and opening the brokerage, that there's got to be an insurance advantage for the size and scope of not only my company, but for the C21 system, because everybody that buys real estate has to have insurance for their mortgages. So Babita is good friends with Christian. And so Babita sent Christian a email and introduced us. So we sat down, we have a lot of things in common. But more importantly, we came up with, well, Christian and Jennifer came up with, who's also on this presentation, came up with a plan for not only you personally, for either your home insurance, or your tenant insurance if you rent, but also for your customers. And then on the other side, for our property management division, where we have close to 1,000 doors now, for all the owners to have insurance on their properties, and for their tenants to make sure that they have tenant insurance and it stays. So I'm going to leave it at that, and then Christian and Jennifer can go on with all the bells and whistles. And so, Christian, would you mind just you guys introduce yourselves and have at it? And welcome to the company, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting us today. We're happy to present to everyone. So I have some slides that we'll go over. Well, actually, let me start with my name here. So Christian Gourlay, Vice President of Private Client Solutions at Waypoint. And I'm with today Jennifer Lowry, who's our Director of our Personalized Department, specifically on new business. So we have a slideshow to share with you. It's not too boring, I hope. We've got about 10 slides. We'll get to the end and we'll talk a bit about the custom page that we're building for C21 friends and family, and a bit about that portal for tenants insurance. And happy to answer any questions that come up as well. Maybe use the chat and then we can answer that at the end. And then once we're done, we will send out a copy of the slide decks as well. So if there's anything you missed, you can review it later. So let me just start by sharing this here, and I'm going to toss it over to Jennifer first, as she is leading this one. So I think you guys can see my slides. All good, great. Okay, over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you. Again, I'm Jennifer Lowry, and I'm the Personal Lines Director of Sales at Waypoint. And Christian and I thought it important to kind of give you an overview quickly of Waypoint, what we offer, and who we are. I do run the Personal Lines new business team. So of course, we see any new business that comes into Waypoint, and then we, after we bind that business, we move it over to our dedicated renewal team. So if we want to jump into the first slide, Christian. So a quick overview of my team. Charlotte DeWinter is the Vice President of our Personal Lines Insurance. Myself is the Director of our Personal Lines Sales. And then Tiana Gordon is our new business team manager. So at any time you can reach out to any one of us for any sort of help. So just a little bit about Waypoint, what makes us unique in the insurance industry. First of all, I want to let you know that we have 150 years serving BC. We started as a small brokerage over on Vancouver Island back in the day and have grown into a company of over 30 locations on Vancouver Island and the Lower Mainland. So of course, we understand the BC market from all areas, not just the island or the Lower Mainland, where we have team members in the Okanagan, et cetera. So we have a really good understanding of BC insurance. We also have something unique to us, which is our own product line. So we have a Lloyd's Gore contract where we can act as the insurer as well as partnerships with many other insurance companies. So our product line, we have a product line called Prestige, which is our standard home policy. We have Excellence, which is our higher value home policy. And then we have our special product called Distinct, and that's more for homes that perhaps are in the fixer-upper stage when they're bought, or maybe they're in a vacant situation due to estate sale, et cetera. So we have our own specialized product for that. The other really great thing about Waypoint is we have our own in-house claims team. So our claims team does look after all of the claims for our program policies for Prestige, Excellence, and Distinct. If there's ever any issues, they can, write a check for additional living expenses, and they advocate for our clients in the event of a loss. But they also work with other insurers to advocate for our clients in that aspect too. We also have the capability of insuring in other provinces. Generally, we see a lot of people that have homes in Alberta and BC, so we are licensed in both provinces, as well as under the Navicord umbrella, we have 70 other partners that we can work with. So in the event that your client has a home in BC and they've purchased a seasonal in Nova Scotia, we can look after that. Next slide, please. So a little bit about my team. I want to make sure that you guys are really comfortable with what we have to offer. Obviously, our commitment to new clients being the very first face of Waypoint is top-notch customer service. We want to get back to your clients quickly. We want to make sure that they are given multiple quotes, that they understand that what they're covered for, and we also obviously want to offer really competitive premiums. My team is dedicated completely to new business. I have 18 brokers that are very, very experienced. They, of course, because we only do new business, we have great relationships with all underwriters for different companies that we work with. And again, our team is expert on residential, seasonal, hobby farm, rental properties. So we run the gamut of all things personal lines, and we're, obviously ready to help your clients with that. Next slide, please, Christian. And again, just to get into a few home concerns that sometimes happen, and I'm sure that you guys are all very well aware of. When purchasing a home, oftentimes if it's an older home, we're looking for updates. There could be some issues with plumbing. Poly B is a big one right now within the market. Our own in-house program does not have any issues with Poly B, so we can bind on those policies without any problem. Obviously, old oil tanks might be an issue, an older roof. We need, obviously, for wood stoves, we need to make sure that they are certified with wet certificates. And hot water tanks, if they are older, most often it will be something that needs to be replaced, not to worry about on-demand ones. But what I want you to know with all of these home concerns is we have markets for all of them. So, if your client is buying an older home and they are going to be jumping in and doing some updates and all that stuff, we work with your clients to get a timeline for that. And most often we can write it on a standard market if they have a full plan in place for their updates. If they don't, then we also have our own product that we can write with, so that when they are ready to move over to a standard product, they can do that as well. So, just like you guys, we are looking to move forward with our business and make sure that we're taking the obstacles out of the way for the clients. So again, if I can, reiterate, we really are here to help you help your clients. All right, next slide, Kristen. So again, how to contact us. The best way is through quotes at waypoint.ca. So part of my team is we have 2 people who are completely dedicated to our inbox. So they sort our leads based on our partnerships. And as you are a partnership, we'll get first priority. So instead of just having an individual broker to go to, this goes out and we assign it to our team so that you get, your clients, I should say, get that immediate attention and callback. Of course, if your clients do want to speak to a broker, they can call the 1-800 number with our extension, and we can have a broker connect with them that way. Our team is in most branches. We do have a few branches that we don't have a team member in. In that event, we will meet the client how they want to be met. Some people prefer to do a Zoom meeting. Some would prefer just email. We do have clients that really, don't want to get a face-to-face. They just want to get things done quickly via email. We can do that as well. Phone call, and even if they go into a branch and a broker isn't there, we can also set them up immediately on a Zoom with our team. So again, looking to make things as easy as possible for your clients, and again, using our quotes at waypoint.ca does get you in touch with a broker quickly.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Absolutely.
All right, now over to me. So again, Christian here from the Private Client Solutions team. I think the best way to think about what my team does is really helps successful clients and their families protect their assets, and we do that using insurance. So there's me there and my amazing manager, Candace Halliday, that handles the day-to-day. I have 10 account executives on our team, and they are the ones that are having the conversations with clients and also doing the marketing in some cases with the insurers. I think it's really important to know, like with this team, this is all my staff do. So when we're thinking of high value homes and those clients, it's not something that sits on the side of their desk. This is their day-to-day. And so all of those things are rather routine to us. We're not fumbling our way through a new experience like some brokers might be doing. We have 3 technical administrators that help us just push paper, answer phones, do all that kind of stuff that's really important. And then I have a little spot there about auto insurance experts. So most of our clients on that Private Client Solutions team would be linked up with an auto insurance producer. And that's somebody who is really there as almost a concierge service of sorts to handle anything auto related. Very easy to contact them, and they're available in general about 7 days a week. Did want to point out one little spot here, that Chubb Cornerstone Producer box in the corner. This is something we're very proud of. This is a designation that Chubb, who's one of the largest high-value home insurers in the world, will provide to their top brokers. This represents about, I think, 3% of all Chubb brokers in the world. And it would be very similar to in your line of work, if you're a 1% real estate professional, or I think there's like a medallion club, things like that. And this really helps us help our clients because we get dedicated underwriters, and we also get more creative sales focused underwriters that really look for creative ways to place business. And some of the business we write is it's very non-standard, I would say, and takes some creativity at times and a willing insurer to place. So much like Jennifer's team, we handle all lines of business. So from home insurance, luxury condo, and tenant. When you're thinking of this line, though, you just want to think of like bigger homes, bigger collections of things to insure, often bigger personalities as well that go with these homes. We also would focus a lot on things like excess liability. We have clients that are rural travelers. They reside in other jurisdictions in Canada. They have properties in the US and Mexico. And we have ability to extend liability to those locations. We also would be involved in a lot of the marine policies. A lot of our clients own luxury yachts as well, and we can facilitate help there as well. This segment often is investing in wine, arts, has large jewelry collections, and my team is very well versed in making sure that we can provide adequate coverage for those things as well. Again, back to that kind of world traveler clientele, we do have options to insure property in the US in some cases, not some of the more risky areas like Los Angeles or say Miami or Hawaii. But think of that client you might have that has a home in Arizona, Palm Springs. Those ones are what we would be able to provide help with locally using Chubb, for example. We can also provide help for that client's automobiles, golf carts, things that are left at that residence from here, really taking some of the complexity out of a sale like that, because they're not having to now find a local broker in Arizona to just sort of split their business with. We do have facilities for worldwide coverage in basically every place in the world that does not have sanctions from the US government. So no places like Russia, North Korea, Iran, Cuba. I'm assuming your clients probably aren't going there anyway, so it probably doesn't matter. But certainly if client picked up a home in London, Italy, something like that, we do have options to. In terms of our ideal client in my segment here for private client solutions, we'd be looking at dwelling replacement values that exceed $1.5 million. In most cases, they're closer to like 2.5 or 3.5 million. Remember, we're talking dwelling replacement values here, not market values. So if you were to consider, land in Vancouver, you're probably looking at a client with a maybe 3.5 and up retail value policy, although that can vary quite a bit because, as you know, in Vancouver, you may have a tear down home on a large lot, and that could be several million on its own. So you want to think of just larger replacement value structures. That next box with respect to personal property would be really talking about a client that has a luxury condominium, or maybe they're building a home and they're in a temporary rental or tenants location. Our markets would be looking for at least $250,000 of personal property coverage in order to qualify. We help clients with really influential status, professional athletes, business owners, CEOs, very successful people in Canada. I personally have 2 billionaires that I work with, and a lot of these clients are, they have files that basically are on your desk weekly or monthly, just with all the changes that are happening. And I think most importantly in this segment, we really work with clients who value insurance and risk mitigation advice. As an example of that, I have a client right now who's starting to build a $6 million home in a wildfire-prone area. This particular client doesn't really value insurance. He doesn't need to insure the home. It's a cash build. But in this particular case, I'm getting him to think about a day when he wants to sell this home. And so what we're doing in this case is we're using some risk mitigation and some risk consultation services in order to help him and his builder understand how to build this home so that down the road, say 4 years until completion, the home will actually be insurable. And while that may not mean so much to the client right now, we're getting him to think about this being an asset that at some point he wants to put to market and sell. I think you can all agree as realtors, the more clients you have that are clamoring to buy a property, the more likely that will have a positive impact on the sale price. And so in cases like this, sometimes you have to kind of think about the future. If the climate's still changing, it's getting drier, it's getting hotter, how do we get clients to think a little bit more about, how what they do today is going to impact the sale price of their home tomorrow? He doesn't have a mortgage on this home, but the next person might. And that mortgage is typically going to have insurance requirements. And if we have issues insuring that home, say down the road, 4, 5, 10 years, that may eliminate some of those buyers. And so we have those abilities to get that risk consultant in there now and really build a home that's going to have a long-lasting value for the client. So how we can help you, we can help you by reviewing your client's coverage. This is a weird one in the sense that a lot of clients don't look at their insurance very often. I think for most people, they're so busy in life that it becomes almost like a property tax or the water sewer bill every year. And so, we would help by exposing maybe some gaps in coverage on the policy. There's been a lot of changes in the last, say, 5 or 10 years. New introductions of coverage that maybe people they've overlooked, or maybe their prior broker hasn't discussed it with them. Things like overland water, excess liability, things like equipment breakdown. Your client might have an elevator in their home or an expensive geothermal system, and all of those things can be insured when known. We could provide relevant solutions. In this space, it's a lot about risk sharing. Clients typically have very large deductibles, anywhere from, I think on average, probably about 10,000, but I have clients with $1 million deductibles because, for them, they're willing to use the insurance just for catastrophic things. And so we can often have a custom solution for them. We offer solutions to mitigate risk exposures. And we also have a connection with Balfour Restorations to provide help for certain situations that arise where a contractor is needed. Probably the most common example would be installing something like a water shutoff device that will protect the home from leaks. It can be hard to find a contractor sometimes. You don't know where to go. Balfour Restorations is a preferred contractor for Chubb. They work with affluent clients all the time, and they have a whole procedure set up for that, so that we know when we're reaching out to them, they're providing a very high touch and high class service to those clients. We're not going to get someone showing up at the door, in torn jeans and a dirty truck, things like that. Also provides access to a contractor in certain areas that can be difficult to obtain. For example, if you have clients in Whistler, trying to find a contractor for a small job up there is very, very difficult. Oftentimes, we can piggyback on top of another project that Balfour might be doing in Whistler in order to get one of their contractors to go out to one of those homes to do a small job. And that can add a lot of value for those clients. Lastly, and this kind of speaks to the risk sharing component again, but we will provide options to best allocate premium. Sometimes it's these premiums can be quite large, but there's a way to kind of put them or direct them in a way that is most important to the client. So I want to leave you with just a couple conversations, and these are things that you can talk to your, maybe even to your family about, or to your friends, or to a client. And it's about protecting high value gifts. Often we see people making claims for items that maybe are misplaced or stolen, and then they realize that they actually don't have the cover they thought they had. Worst time to consider what your coverage limits are is after a loss, because there isn't really any hope then of kind of going backwards. So you may have clients that they're getting married, or maybe they have another big life-changing event that's happening. These things will often come with a gift, jewelry, watches, art, wine, of course. And we have facilities to help protect all of those items. It's interesting, some of the losses we see: diamond earrings falling out. You lose one earring after dancing, or stones falling out of clasps. And so it's worth taking a look at those things before it's too late. This last one is really about making sure that there isn't gaps in coverage. And this is an actual client of ours, and it relates a bit to real estate as well. So this is a picture of Deep Cove area. I think the ocean would be heading down the street here, from, I believe it was October, when we had that big rain event, the atmospheric river / Pineapple Express, however you want to call it. In this particular case, although our client's house was actually in Deep Cove, it was in West Van. Our client was selling their family home after the death of her spouse. There was a large overland water loss. Effectively, a culvert had backed up higher up and broke loose and shot a ton of water and gravel into the client's home. And they didn't have enough coverage for overland water. In this particular case, the self-insured portion, so the part that the client is going to have to come to the table with, is going to exceed $500,000 to get the house back to where it was before the loss, so that they can put it up for sale again. And in this particular case, the client was looking to downsize, but buy another property. And, you know, in this case, that $500,000 plus is likely going to take a ding out of their assets. And so the next home they purchase is likely to be smaller and less valuable. And, you know, I think that's something to consider as a realtor. I mean, now you potentially would be selling a home that might drive less commission. Certainly the next home that we as brokers would sell would be a smaller premium as well. And so I think, you know, if you kind of look at the kind of greedy side of this, helping these clients is really good for everyone. It's a win for them. It's a win for us as a broker. It's a win for you as a realtor. And so, you know, if you have concerns that your client might not be paying attention to their policy, you know, direct them our way. And I would say certainly for yourselves, if you don't know what's in your own policy and you haven't looked at it lately, you know, engage with your broker. We're certainly happy to help with that as well, but definitely not the time to figure out what cover you have after a loss. So please be proactive with that. So this is me. We'll send this out later. This phone number that you're seeing here, the 604-306 number, this is answered by one of my technical associates. So there's always somebody on the other end of that line. We're pretty receptive with emails as well. Certainly you can call or text me anytime. I do have a form there. You can just ignore that. We actually don't want you filling out that form. I should probably delete that. And on to the kind of the next part here. So we want to talk about these Century 21 discounts. So what we're doing here is we've created a custom landing page for C21 customers and for you. We'll have this live April 1st. We're just doing a few little tweaks to make it look fancy, but 90% of it's already done. So inside this landing page, there will be a self-serve portal for tenants insurance. So if you have a client who is you know, renting out their property, their home, their condo, it's very important that those tenants have insurance, and we can facilitate it through that portal. There'll be a code that we will show on that landing page, and they will be able to then receive a 5% discount as well. Going through the motions there of the portal, I think it takes about 10 minutes. It's pretty easy to use. Additionally, there'll be a 10% friends and family discount. So we'll have a code for that as well. And just a little bit of context, I guess, around the portal. The portal is relatively new. It's a work in progress. We do have tenants insurance live in that portal now. Over time, later this year, we'll start to introduce some other products like condominium and home in there as well. But for now, if you needed a quote for a home or a condo policy, we would just do that by phone or email with you. I do have a little note there, just in the brackets, the market-based eligibility. So that 10% friends and family discount, it applies to the product that we own, that Waypoint issues. And part of the reason why is that we earn a bit more revenue on that product than things we broker. And so that's why we're basically giving you some of that revenue back as a way of a discount. If we have to go to market for something, I'm using an Aviva or I'm using an Intact or a Wawanesa, doesn't apply. But in most cases, I would say probably 90% plus, we're able to fit it through our in-house product. On my side for PCS, we're typically using markets like Chubb, Ovation, Prestige. You don't have to worry too much about those names, but it wouldn't apply for those because it's all brokered out. Within this page, we will also have some contact details for other lines of insurance. Should you ever need help with commercial insurance, travel insurance, auto insurance, all those things as well. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Christian. So guys, I think the big takeaway here is insurance is a very multi-level, detailed product that we don't really know much about ourselves. So you give it to Christian and Jennifer and team and let them handle it. But the hook and the sizzle is we have the ability, friends and family and customers, tenants, and whether we're renting ourselves, to get a discount off of a great insurance policy. And that's the key thing. This is great coverage. This isn't fly-by-night coverage. This is solid coverage by a solid company that's been around for a long, long time. And if you want an opportunity to save some money, I can give you a link, and then you guys go and have at it. So I think that's the sizzle. It's like the brick code, it's like the UPS or whatever. I have the ability of not only being your real estate professional, but I can also help you not only introduce you to a great insurance provider, but maybe the opportunity of saving you a couple bucks too. And we all want to save, excuse me, some money in good markets and bad markets. Does anybody have any questions for these guys before we introduce John?
Yeah, just one, Mike. Do they, you guys do Airbnbs and all?
Yes, we do. We have some markets that will allow for that. It's a more limited selection out there. The way the markets look at it, it's basically you've got a hotel kind of running. So I think to start with, you'd kind of ask yourself, is it like a full-time 12-month Airbnb, or is this something that's happening maybe infrequently in somebody's home, maybe for 3 or 4 weeks a year? We have options for both, but what direction we go typically will depend on how frequent the rental is.
Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. We are having our Thirsty Thursday on the 10th. And if you're in town, come by and have some snacks and a couple of cocktails with us and introduce yourselves live. I know this is the first step of getting a relationship built, and I do appreciate your time, Christian, and everybody else.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
so you'll see the landing page and a copy of the slide decks.
Oh, you're welcome. You're very welcome. And now there's the big bad John Armstrong. John and I have known each other, holy cow, since 88-ish, I guess.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Living in Calgary, working for Laurentian Insurance, carpooling into work, carpooling home, and always had to stop by at a happy hour somewhere. And he's a great guy. I'm so proud of what he's accomplished and running his business. And like I said, again, guys, this is an opportunity for you to get what I think is really important, your extended health insurance, because it is for the big items. It's one thing, you get your teeth done, get something paid for and whatnot. John can go through the coverages, but if something happens and you need the coverage, you got the coverage. And so without further ado, John, my friend, have at it. Tell us what we got, how we get to you to do an application, and how simple life will become.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Michael, for the introduction. And yeah, there were a lot of good times had with Michael back in the day, and less frequent now with those little happy hours. But thank you very much for bringing me on. And this is now the second presentation I've given to Century 21ers, and I think the last one was back in November, and I provided a little bit of a slideshow there, but I think it's probably a little bit too busy to go through. But what I wanted to do, and I sent this to Angelica back in November as well. So what we have is we have a link, a letter with my contact information on it, and a link for you, and it's pretty intuitive. When you go on the link, you can pick your coverages. So whether it be for an individual, a couple, or a family, you build up your profile, you pick your coverages, depending on what you may have for medical. They might ask you a few medical questions. So for pills you may or may not be on, or conditions that you may have, and then it'll produce the quote for you, and you can bind the quote right there, which means you can put the coverage in place. Some coverages, like dental, for example, have a 30-day waiting period for that coverage to come into play, but the rest of it will be on board and ready to go, and you can see all the coverages right there. My contact information is on there as well. What we did was we have basically 4 different coverages. So you can pick, you have your very basic plan, and then on top of that, you can have an increase in dental benefits. You can have an increase in extended health care benefits, which is your chiropractic care, your physiotherapy, all that stuff. And then you can have kind of the 4th coverage, which is the Cadillac of all coverages, which is the increased dental, the increased extended health care dollar values. So you can put that in play, and it'll have all the pricing for you on there. And if it's too much, or if you reconsider, you can back out of some of the coverages as well. I'll provide the link again to Angelica, and then I will have it on my landing page as well, or on my website, a landing page for Century 21ers, where you can just click on the link there and go right on the website. I'll provide all that information and a little bit of a slideshow to be sent out to everybody as well. So it's easy, simple, easy. Any questions? As I say, my contact information is on there. I'm always available. I respond to everything from texts, phone calls, and emails. 24-hour rule, so you'll get a response within that time frame. I did want to say, I mean, we can definitely go through the coverages, but what I'd prefer to do, probably the best thing to do, I'll send out this PDF, and if anybody has any questions on it, it has all the coverages laid out there. If anybody has any questions, definitely reach out to me at any time, and I will answer your questions as best I can. One of the things that I've added in for Century 21ers, and because of Michael and I, our good relationship, I have a couple freebies. So these 2 freebies are, well, they can be valued anywhere between about $2,000 and $3,000. So what I have is a will preparation kit that I will hand out to anyone that signs up for benefits. Now, what that does for you is it kind of gets your information together, so that when you go to the lawyer, there's a reduced time that the lawyer has to spend with you, therefore, saving you money on the lawyer visit. And I also have a free financial plan, and so that can be valued. Everybody knows you never get anywhere without a plan, and the value that comes from a free financial plan is unbelievable. So you get a free an hour of consultation with me if you like, but you get the link for the free financial plan. I can walk you through it. Then you have a professional plan all done up for you. So then when you rake in all the money from all your real estate sales, you'll know which bucket to put it in. Also, throughout the year, I have about 4 to 6 webinars, and they're all focused on you. So it'll be estate planning. I have one on estate planning. I have one on life insurance, one on disability insurance. Those are typically the areas that I focus on, and of course, one on benefits. So you'll have access to those, and they're in my library, or will be in my library on my website, so you can access them at any time. But just good information for you to know. If you can't make the live events, then, as I say, they'll be on my website. You can pick them up there. I am working with my website person to develop that Century 21 area for you to find all that stuff. So happy to take any questions, or I will definitely resend the link to out, and you can walk through, get a quote. And if you have any questions, let me know.
Thanks, John. Does anybody have any benefits questions? Once, twice, guys, insurance, it's a whole different level, right? And we can use it as a good marketing tool to get in front of our customers in a different angle than just, do you want to buy, do you want to sell? But you're providing very good service providers like John, like Christian, like Paul Hood, that add value to your expertise, because that's what we are. We're real estate experts, but we also know more than just things about real estate. We know who to do business with and who to recommend. And I think the extended health is so important for you guys as individuals. It does cost money, but you're investing in yourself, which is what you should be doing. Doug, do you have any words of wisdoms, or anybody that's here wants to share any information about a listing or sale that they have, or a need and a want? Could you ask now?
Just quickly, if anybody needed to know, the Greater Vancouver Realtors are having their AGM this Thursday, and it would be really great if you could all participate. You don't actually have to go in person. You can 100% do the virtual Zoom version as well.
Hey, Mike, we got a PDP credit course coming up tomorrow with Autoprop. We're going to be doing CMAs and land assemblies. So if you need some self-directed PDP credit course tomorrow, 10 a.m.
Yeah, guys, and remember, get your credits. The system's working really slow in order to process your credits. So don't wait till the last minute, because if you decide to wait till the last minute, your license will be on hold for a while till you can find room in their online portals. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you for participating. Again, there'll be links to both the personal lines insurance, general insurance, and the benefits insurance to follow in this email and on our portals. And there will be marketing pieces for you to use to send out to your sphere of influence. Hey, if you're looking to save money at the brick or save money on your insurance, come and reach out to me and let me know how it works. It's really nice to report back to see if you actually were able to help somebody, because that's what you're doing. You're offering to help somebody. So on that note, guys, thank you for your time. Thanks, Foster, for the board AGM, and we'll have a link out for that too. And if you need me, just reach out and call. Thanks. Take care.